Let me start by saying thanking you all for turning up today, making the time, showing that interest in the desire to teacher service learning a component as part of your coursework. My name is Damien Wilson. I am the faculty fellow for community engagement with the School of Business and Economics. So I'll get you all to introduce yourselves similarly, and just to tell us a little bit about what just a brief summary of what you're hoping to get out of this session. So I'll call on you as I'm working my way around the screen, and so I'll start with Sylvia. Would you be kind enough to do the same?
Yes, hi, I'm Sylvia Soto. I'm about to complete my second year as a new faculty member in Chicano Latino Studies and Native American Studies. And I have just been assigned to teach what's our CALS 165 course in the fall, which is a humanities learning community course. And I know very little about this courses. It's my first attempt in learning more about this type of curriculum here at Sonoma. And I don't necessarily, I'm just here to listen and learn as I am beginning to think about my course for the fall. Nice to meet you all, or to see you all. I know I've seen some of you in other Zoom meetings, and just I'm here to listen and learn, pretty much.
Well, thanks very much for that introduction. Welcome. Appreciate your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
I'll work around the screen. Caroline, would you be keen to take up the mantle?
Of course. Hi, I'm Caroline Banuelos. I am the Community Partnerships Coordinator here in the Center for Community Engagement. And I always, I come to these all the time, but I always learn something new. So I'm always grateful to attend. And I'm also here to help all of you faculty. So thank you.
Thanks for that, Caroline. And Kiara, would you maybe next to take up the stick?
Hi, I'm Kiara Bachigalupa. I'm Department Chair for Early Childhood Studies in the School of Education. And we've been doing service learning for a few years. I personally am not teaching any service learning courses, but I'm here on behalf of my faculty who are, and kind of just looking for a review and make sure that we're up on all the basics.
Great, thank you for that, Kiara. Always good to have those who are representing faculty, sharing the message. Communicating what we're doing is a key element and outcome that we very much appreciate. Thank you for that. Haley, would you be able to take up the next?
Sure. My name is Haley Katz, and I am an AmeriCorps Vista member with the Office of Community Engagement here on campus, as well as the City of Santa Rosa. And I work with Meredith and Caroline and Ashley, as well as the other AmeriCorps member, Maddie. And I'm just happy to be here. Happy to have the opportunity to learn about what you guys are bringing to campus in terms of service learning opportunities.
Thanks for that, Haley. Appreciate your support. Ben, over to you.
Hey, I'll do my best. I am here because next semester in the fall, I'll be teaching a class called Applied Human Development, which has always had a little bit of a servicey element to it, but definitely want to kind of like formalize that and kind of make that a bigger piece of the class. And definitely in the position here of trying to learn a lot about what that means and learning from folks who have more expertise in doing this. Excited to learn more and to reframe the class around this concern.
Well, thanks, Ben. I was going to say it's helpful to get at this stage where you're trying to figure out how to integrate what the ways you can improve the ominous service learning to the class. Hopefully, we can we've got some solutions or suggestions for you today. Michael, would you be next on the list, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Michael Cohen, faculty fellow from the School of Science and Technology, Department of Biology. Good to see familiar faces here. Looking forward to this. And Damien, this is kind of your swan song, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I'd classify myself as a swan, but definitely, and I can't sing, but thanks anyway, Michael. I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah. Addison, for you.
Hi, sorry. My name is Addison Smith. I'm the blogger for the student blogger for the CCE. I'm here to take notes and write a blog on this event.
We'll blog away. We're big supporters of blogging. Appreciate your contribution. Anything you want to add or quote us on, feel free to reach out after the event as well. We'll do what we can to help. And Ashley, before I hand over the reins to my colleague in crime, Missy.
Hi, I'm Ashley Simon Alvarez. I'm the CC Administrative Coordinator. I'll just be supporting you all in the event today. Thank you for coming.
And I was going to say, not only have I missed Nadia as she's got in here. Nadia, I won't put you on the spot just at the moment. I'll get Meredith to introduce herself and present the model for you, and then I'll hand over to you before I hand over the reins to Missy. Meredith.
Hi, I'm Meredith Weissman. I'm the director of the Center for Community Engagement, and I'm here to help. Particularly, Caroline can help with connecting with community partners, and I can help with the syllabus construction and support in any way I can. That is what I'm here for. Excited to see so many folks getting excited about service learning.
Appreciate it, Meredith. Okay, Nadia, over to you.
Hi, everyone. So as Damien just said, we both are in the business school, and I, as most of you in the Community Engagement Center knows, that I'm kind of experimenting with community partners, some of which are nonprofits, some of which are hybrids, and some of which are benefit corporations, which are registered as for-profits. So for that reason, I have not been able to completely call my course service learning, because as per the definition, it is service learning is more for nonprofit, but I still have elements of it, which gets me curious to know more about what service learning workshop is. So that's about my experience and my interest in the field.
Thanks, Nadia. Okay, Missy, I've warmed up the audience for you. Over to you.
Thank you. First of all, I'm Missy Garvin. I'm the faculty fellow from the School of Social Sciences and the lead faculty fellow for the Center for Community Engagement. And I apologize for being late. I was on Zoom with IT for over an hour today. And then I thought everything was working, and then my internet went out. So that's just where we are today. So I'm sorry. I was trying hard since like 10 o'clock this morning to get here. So so I'm very much looking forward to this opportunity. So this is an opportunity for truly a workshop where you have an opportunity to work through your syllabus or an assignment that you're wanting to make service learning. You want help with a rubric, any of that sort of thing. This is a great opportunity for that. So I'm putting a link in the chat right now that is to a Google Drive shared folder. Is that what it's called? Whatever. That thing. And you'll see in there that there are a lot of resources for, a timeline for creating a service learning class. There are samples of assignments. There are instructions on how to build a syllabus that includes service learning. So I am sorry again to have missed everybody's introductions, but it sounds as though some people know that they're going to be teaching service learning in the fall or think they might be. And some people are thinking, I want to pass along resources to other faculty. So for those of you who are ready, and again, I know none of us are ready until like it starts, right? And then you're like, I have no choice but to be ready now. That for those of you who are thinking of doing it in the fall, where are you in terms of community partners? And do you know who you want to work with? Have you started talking with a community partner about a project?
Yeah, I can go to share my experience. Few of them, because I've done this course for the past 2 semesters, are on board. But I would like to, because every semester to come in for the same course, it may not be practical from their time perspective. So I was kind of reaching out to the center, Community Engagement Center, to see on certain themes that I'm interested in on a recurring basis, if there are more community partners whom I can approach. So to answer your questions, I have reached out to a few whom I know that will be joining in fall. Some of them, I'm still working with them.
Okay, so Nadia, it sounds like the way that you do this is you have a project and you plug community partners into your project.
Yes.
Okay. And that's certainly a way that you can do this. Is there any modification? Like, do some partners need something a little different than others, or is it just this is what we give and this is how it works?
We tried the earlier model of customizing based on each partner's requirement, but we felt like it was not uniform experience for the students. And therefore we went to the model of we are sharing what we are doing and they are partnering with us. So basically they come in as guest speakers in the initial session and they get kind of the work that the students do for the different organizations as an output, as a report, and they also get to hear their presentation towards the end.
Okay. So this is great because this is one of the ways in which we see that service learning isn't the same thing for every single faculty member and every single community partner. We all do it differently. And there's sometimes a sense that you can only do service learning if you're hitting everything at the highest point, but that doesn't work for a lot of us, right? So a lot of the times having a true partnership where there's a co-curricular sort of development of service learning really doesn't work in a lot of people's courses. And that's totally acceptable. That's totally fine. And I think it's great that you tried a few different things and found what worked for you. So anybody else, are you thinking that you have a project? Are you thinking that you have a partner? Where are you in your service learning journey? Yeah, Ben.
I love the description of it as a journey. My journey is at the beginning. And I've had conversations with California Human Development about serving as a partner. They are a really large organization that do lots of different things. So it's still very much trying to figure out kind of what the focus within their programs might be. They do stuff with like day laborers, kind of migrant education. They do stuff with disability kind of services. They do stuff with kids with this summer camp program that they run and that they develop curriculum for. So lots of possibilities there. I remember reading off of I think it was a CCE blog where a faculty person was doing some interesting work with I think it was the Petaluma Health Center. And that certainly kind of community health kind of work in one form or another kind of sounds pretty fascinating to me. In terms of the project that I'd like students to be working on, so this class that I'm teaching called Applied Human Development, it's a class that's really about the kind of the ethics and the politics of the helping professions, right? So there's a big chunk of the class that's about like the emotional labor of help and how that gets tied to ideas of gender. There's a big piece of the class that's about the ethics of providing service, like to what extent does helping kind of circulate stereotypes about the populations being helped and in what ways? There's a big piece of the class that's about like how to think about creating kind of more collaborative relationships between so-called, helpers that is experts and those quote unquote being helped. So it's a class that's relatively abstract and pushing students to think about kind of, again, the ethics and politics of service in the quote unquote helping professions. Most of my students want to go on to do things like social work or counseling. And this class is designed to give them tools to be able to do that ethically and mindfully about some of the risks in doing so. And the way that I've structured the class typically is to have a first big chunk of the class devoted to those kind of more abstract issues, and then a second big chunk of the class where they take up those issues within a specific profession. So they might choose social work, or they might choose counseling, or some students, you think about human resources, for example, and they'll do some research on a specific professional context and think about how those concepts that we've learned can be applied to those professional contexts. So how can we make social work a more kind of collaborative, kind of helping profession, right? And less driven by kind of models of expertise that may or may not be, problematic. So what I'm thinking about with the service learning component is to kind of honestly replace that second piece of the class, or where instead of having students write or to engage in kind of research projects about specific professions and kind of reading the ethnographic and other kind of social scientific literature on it, to have some sort of service learning project component of it, where they're bringing to bear the kind of relatively abstract components of the first chunk of the class and kind of serving in some context as honestly partly kind of like participant observers, right? Partly as, of course, providing service, and really kind of having some, nuts and bolts examples of what it means to navigate some of these ethical and political issues.
That's really interesting, man, because Meredith often talks about service learning as a text for the course, and that's really what it sounds like you're doing. It's more than it's the application of the information and that's I think that's such a fantastic way to come about. I mean, it's a service learning course about service. Like that's pretty awesome and really interesting. So that's very cool. Anybody else want to share where you are? The plan for the rest of the time is, I'll tell you, is to go into breakout rooms. And I think that what we'll do is we can probably pair faculty with a faculty fellow so that there are sort of two people in each room, and you have a chance to sort of bounce ideas off of each other and start working, if you want to start hammering out some ideas as you're writing part of your assignment or your rubric or something, and just have a chance to really actually get some work done for next fall, because wouldn't that be nice? So does anybody want to share anything before we go on to that next step?
Should I just give a really 2-minute risk management?
Yes.
So for service learning and for internships, your community partners need to be in process with their risk management before your students start there. For internships, it depends on your school, but for service learning, it doesn't. So if you, I know California Human Development is all set. And we've been working on on the School of Ed partners. If you know who you're partnering with or are thinking about who you want to partner with, please let us know who those partners are as soon as possible so that we can start the risk management process and we don't run into a situation where your students can't start. I don't think that is going to happen in the fall, but it is going to happen eventually, where your students actually won't be able to be there until this is addressed. So, and semesters go so fast. So we're working on this now for the fall. So if you haven't yet let us know who you're interested in partnering with, please do that. That would be great. We definitely need that so we can work on the risk management. Thanks.
So Meredith, about that, so, we have these connections with the Waters group, which is funded by the Sonoma County Water Agency. And does that already have all that built in, the risk management built in for any student?
So if it's part of Sonoma State, hi, Kiara, we just need to know who they are.
Yeah.
And then, but we do need to know who they are. They don't have to go through the whole process, but we have to know who they are. If they're not part of the CSU, we do have to go through the whole process. So either way, we have to know who they are, but you don't have to worry about the process so much as just letting us know who they are.
Yeah.
Does that work? Yeah.
Okay, so Ashley, I think you can put us into 3 rooms. So 1 faculty fellow per room and 1 faculty who's not a fellow per room, if that works. Welcome back. So does anybody have any key takeaways or any things that you worked through in your breakout rooms that were particularly useful or helpful that you'd like to share? And they can be personal to your own project if you're comfortable sharing that.
I can say that I came today to listen and to learn more about this community service possible component for my class, and I've received a wealth of information. I'm really excited. So I took notes, I got links. So I'm grateful to the people in my group, both Michael Cohen and Meredith Weissman. So still can't go into specifics, just grateful that I received a lot of information to work with as I get ready for my course development for the fall. Thank you.
I'll mention so something that I think talked about, especially near the end of our breakout room session, was to think about service learning projects that are components of classes that are kind of sustainable across semesters, and that has benefits for everyone involved, right? For both the kind of the stability of the relationship to the partner. The fact that the project is relatively stable suggests that it's central to the mission of the partner, as well as central to the learning goals of the class, right? So I think what I gained was to think about this not just as like, what I need to do to get ready for the fall, which I think is like where we as faculty sometimes end up being, but rather how to think about something that's sustainable and meaningful across multiple iterations of the class.
Yeah, in my group, just to add to the same thing that I experienced from the beginning when I introduced, is that I was struggling with how to position the course as service learning, because I have good amount of community engagement, but it has overlaps with for-profit and non-profit. So we bounced ideas I was in the right group where there's a business faculty fellow, so he had experience of how he's doing in his course. So we bounced ideas on how I can separate these 2 elements, having more of the business side in the initial part where they get to listen to the guest speakers, and do the service learning with nonprofits, with organizations where probably community engagement center already has some partnerships and around the themes where the course can focus, and 2 assignments around that. So Haley and Damien were guiding me around ideas which I can try out in the fall. So it was really useful.
Good. It sounds like everybody got something that they needed from this, which was the point of it. And it was meant to be something that would be productive going forward and thinking about it. And I just really want to encourage people, again, kind of going with the idea of what Ben was talking about, with this being something that you can do semester to semester, rather than that feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to figure out this project that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? Like, what it means is just baby step your way into it, right? Figure out something in your course that matches with service learning. Figure out a community partner who might match with that. Figure out what it is that you and the community partner both need, right? Or you can back into that too and find out, this is what I have to offer, and find partners that need what it is that you're offering, right? But it allows you to get deeper each time you do it, and for it to become a more meaningful experience. And I shared with Ben that it's truly what has been the most meaningful component of service learning to me is the way in which that relationship has deepened over time, and the way that my students I can deliver it in a way that I think is more meaningful to my students now than I did the first time that I used service learning in a course. So, does anybody have other thoughts or questions? Any questions about the resources that we sent out? Okay. If questions come up, we're here. So I am around. I'm Damien and Michael. This is their last workshop as faculty fellows. So they've put in 3 years of incredible service, and we'll toast to that another time. But this is their last workshop. But I will continue to be around. There are other faculty fellows as well. So feel free to reach out to us. This is what we do. This is exciting for us to talk with people as they're starting service learning or anywhere in their service learning journey. So feel free to reach out. We're here. Thank you, everyone. And just so you know, I will add, you'll get a notice from Canvas, our tips and trends in service learning. I'll add you to that Canvas page, and there are a lot of resources there as well. And you can accept or reject the invitation. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. Okay. But thank you, everybody, for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your week and rest of your semester.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone. Bye.